Hi there, my name is Rebecca Cook and I'm with Bella Pilates. I wanted to make this video on how to help release a hypertonic pelvic floor. Most people who have pelvic floor issues actually have too tight of a pelvic floor, so sometimes before we actually strengthen it, we need to release it, and then we can strengthen the pelvic floor as needed. So these are just a few exercises that I give to my clients who have this issue. If you have more questions, you can go to see a pelvic floor specialist. Usually those are physical therapists who have special training in pelvic floor issues. So the first thing that we're going to do is a little exercise that is super simple. We're going to take a ball. You want to make sure that you have a ball that has a weight capacity that is your own. So this ball that I have, it can withstand up to 600 pounds without it bursting. And so that's very important in my studio. If I do have a heavier client, I know that them sitting on this is not going to burst this ball. It's very, very thick. You're going to go ahead and actually sit on the ball. And I took a workshop one time. I had this lady do this, and you want to just sit on this ball for about 2 to 5 minutes. All right, it seems super simple. You don't have to move around, but this is going to help release that pelvic floor. Just the relaxation over the ball. You're releasing the muscles, the fascia. It's really nice. So anyway, this lady that I saw do this, she had a video of a woman who had diastasis recti, and some of her diastasis recti, it started like to come in, that middle section. You could see it starting to close in over time as she sat on this ball. So changes start to happen. There's so many things that are connected to our pelvic floor. If you want to kind of go back and forth a little bit, but you don't have to, you can just adjust as needed, because you will feel your body just begin to relax. So we won't sit here on the video and do this for 2 to 5 minutes, but I want you to really think about taking the time several times a week to start out just sitting on this ball and letting things relax for that 2 to 5 minutes. You can pause the video if you need to sit longer, and then we're going to move on to our next exercise. Okay, we're back for our next exercise. And this one, what we're going to do is take a hand towel. You want sort of a thick hand towel, and you want to roll it up so that you have a nice long rope-like towel. You're going to place this underneath you long ways, so it is going perpendicular to your sits bones. You're going to set it on the inside of one of your sits bones. So I'm on the inside right hand side of my sits bones. That roll is going from front to back, anterior to posterior. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slip and slide over my sits bone. Those are the little bony prominences underneath your tush, and I'm just going to kind of rock over that towel and back, over that towel and back. You'll notice I'm using my Cadillac pole to kind of help me. You can put hands next to your side just to shift. We're just kind of releasing any tension around that bony prominence there. It's called the ischial tuberosity. Back and forth, back and forth. Okay, so you can do that for about 30 seconds, and then you're just going to slightly move it to your other side. So again, I'm on the inside, and I'm going to just go over and back, over and back. And this way, my carriage on my reformer wants to move a little bit. And I'm just feeling that bump over and back. It does not feel like a whole lot, like this would help, but it does tremendously. The muscles of the pelvis attached to those ischial tuberosities on the sides and to the tailbone and the pubis in the front and back. So you're just going to do those shifts for about 30 seconds on each side. Okay. Then you're going to take your little roll and you're going to set it long ways from sits bone to sits bone. Okay, so now we're going medial-laterally, side to side, and we have it set like that in a rope-like position. I'm going to take my body and I'm going to shift back and forth over that towel on the sits bones. Back and forth. You'll notice that your pelvis will kind of be rocking into an anterior and posterior tilt. Back and forth, back and forth. And it feels really nice. Some of you will have the ability, if your towel is long enough, to even double up. See, mine kind of went out. It wasn't as rolled up. So if you feel that it's necessary for you, you can double up on it a little bit so it's a little bit thicker and it's right underneath you. So after you have done those small release exercises, I want you to do a breathing exercise with me. So we're going to inhale through our nose, exhale through our mouth. And what we're going to do is on the inhale, I want you to feel like those two bony prominences, the sits bones, move away from each other on the inhale, and then they just exhale and they just come back into place as if they can expand and come back into place. Okay, so let's try that. Inhale, deep breath. Inhale again. And again. Continue breathing. You may not feel like it moves hardly at all, but you're still feeling that slight pull out on the inhale and pull in on the exhale. Pull out on the inhale and pull in on the exhale. Let's do two more like that. Breathe deeply into your pelvis and back. And inhale out and exhale back. Now we're going to do the same breath pattern, but instead of feeling those ischial tuberosities moving away and together, we're going to think about the pubic bone and the tailbone, those two bony prominences widening. So if we were sitting this way, they would widen forward and back, and then back into center. Forward and back, back into center. They're not actually going to move that much, but I'm just giving you a visual for what you're thinking about as you breathe. So we're going to inhale, deep breath. And again. So you inhale, move it out. Exhale, move it in, front to back. Inhale, let those bones move away from one another. Exhale, bring them back. Inhale and exhale. You may have noticed between those two breathing exercises that one of those two bony prominences, they felt kind of tight. And you're just going to really hone in on that. That might be the area that's pulling in more. Maybe it's more side to side, maybe it's more front to back. And so you might want to spend more time breathing through the place where you have more tension. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that helps. Again, I'm Rebecca Cook with Bella Pilates.